First Pokemon is Arceus. As far as the power level among the species of the Pokemon universe, it's impossible to beat Arceus. Both in the anime and the Nintendo DS games it debuted in, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. This legendary beast is regarded as the deity of this world, suggesting it has created the world as a whole. Arceus is an imposing creature in every medium it appears in, and it's capable of adjusting its default normal type to any of the other 17 types that exist by having it hold a special plate. It even paved the way for Dialga and Palkia to act as its agents of time and space, as well as having Giratina live in the reverse world. Next is Dialga. Dialga is the ruler of time. Though no one is as powerful as the deity of the Pokemon world, its legendary Herald of Time still has immense strength. Dialga was created by Arceus to control the flow of time in the universe, and this ability could be used in a variety of ways. The dual Steel Dragon-type Pokemon's temporal powers can be used to reverse, speed up, distort, or halt time altogether, as well as let Dialga freely travel forward and backward in time. While Celebi is another legendary creature capable of traveling through time, Dialga's absolute mastery and unique application of its time powers give it an almost god-level advantage. In the anime, it's even been shown to force surrounding organisms to devolve. Next is Palkia. Dialga is the ruler of time. Though no one is as powerful as the deity of the Pokemon world, its legendary Herald of Time still has immense strength. Dialga was created by Arceus to control the flow of time in the universe, and this ability could be used in a variety of ways. The dual Steel, Dragon-type Pokemon's temporal powers can be used to reverse, speed up, distort, or halt time altogether, as well as let Dialga freely travel forward and backward in time. While Celebi is another legendary creature capable of traveling through time, Dialga's absolute mastery and unique application of its time powers give it an almost god-level advantage. In the anime, it's even been shown to force surrounding organisms to devolve. Next is Giratina. Giratina is the dark creator of a parallel dimension. Completing the group of legendary creatures known as the Pokémon of Myth is Giratina. Another direct creation of Arceus, this ghost dragon type represents antimatter, capable of some terrifying feats. Giratina was regarded as Arceus's shadow, which led to some astonishing implications of its power. The dragon was banished by the deity Pokémon for being overly violent, and made the reverse world, known as the distortion world in the games, its true home where natural and physical laws are its own. Giratina's ability to weaponize antimatter lets it create space-time distortions and rifts capable of sending Dialga and Palkia into mindless furies. Next is Groudon. Groudon can command the expansion of continents. The Hoenn region paved the way for some of the best Pokemon games and anime, with the super ancient legendary trio being just as iconic. The ground-type Groudon is an ages-old legendary that wields the power to expand the lands of entire continents. The dinosaur-like Groudon effectively serves as the living embodiment of the land itself, able to spark droughts and violent volcanic eruptions. This naturally puts it at odds with its water counterpart Kyogre. Groudon's abilities become almost insurmountable when reverting to its primal form, becoming a dual ground-fire type, and is said to show the Pokémon at the peak of its powers. Next is Kyogre. Kyogre could plunge the world into a vast sea. On the opposite side of Groudon in the super ancient trio is the ocean-dwelling Pokémon Kyogre. This whale creature is a direct parallel to Groudon thematically and in-universe, holding the power to expand the oceans. One of the most popular water-type Pokémon, Kyogre lives as a representation of the sea and can create torrential rains, massive tidal waves, and everything else in between. That makes Groudon its ancient rival, with Kyogre also being capable of reverting to its primal form and fully realizing its powers. While in this state, Kyogre can widen the oceans and raise sea levels simply by swimming. Next is Rayquaza. Rayquaza rules the skies and can defeat his quarreling contemporaries. One of the more common themes among legendary species across the anime and the games is how they balance each other out. Rayquaza fills that role for the super ancient Pokemon trio, ruling over the skies while being able to end the cataclysmic fights between Groudon and Kyogre. Rayquaza easily establishes itself as the master of the Hoenn legendary trio for this reason, possessing blistering speed and astonishing strengths as a dual dragon flying type. Even when they lose their primal forms, Rayquaza can soothe Groudon and Kyogre's rage, and it has an uber-powerful alternate form of its own. Mega Rayquaza boosts its existing powers and is said to have been created by humanity's desperate wish for salvation, becoming the first ever Pokémon to achieve Mega Evolution. Next is Necrozma. Necrozma is a cosmic threat, controller of light across dimensions. In one of the more modern Pokémon generations, the legendary Necrozma has abilities that at least come close to Arceus. Debuting in the Pokémon Sun and Moon games, this psychic type is a strange creature made of seemingly crystalline and angular features in its base form. Necrozma can control and steal light from entire dimensions if it wants to, as it's the energy source needed to sustain itself. It's also an alien species. And similar to other legendary Pokémon, it can travel through dimensions by opening up wormholes in space. What makes it a truly imposing creature, though, is how it has 4 unique forms, with its Ultra Necrozma making it a dual psychic dragon type capable of absorbing levels of light, capable of scorching anything in its path. Next is Eternatus. Eternatus could be a plague to all of Galar. First appearing in the Galar region of Pokémon Sword and Shield, Eternatus is one of the most intimidating legendary species for its power and menacing design. The dual poison dragon type has a draconic and skeletal creature design, leaning into its deathly and toxic motif. In addition to Eternatus' sheer size, the energy that sustains the Pokémon is what causes the Galar region's Dynamax and Gigantamax phenomena. Thousands of years ago, the Pokémon was responsible for causing a black storm dubbed Dark Day that engulfed the entire region and attempted to sap the land of all its energy. It also manipulated the Dynamax and Gigantamax capabilities in other species. When in its Eternamax form, Eternatus can even warp space-time and fire infinite energy. Next is Mewtwo. Mewtwo has massive telekinetic power. Though the Pokémon franchise has undoubtedly introduced more legendary species more powerful than Mewtwo, Mewtwo is still a daunting force. The pure psychic-type creature is a classic from Pokémon Red and Blue, as well as from Ash's earlier adventures in the flagship anime series. Based on the legendary Mew, Mewtwo was an artificial Pokémon born from cruel gene-splicing experiments that resulted in terrifying telekinetic powers. Due to its inhumane upbringing, Mewtwo developed a deep-seated and near-uncontrollable hatred that magnified its already devastating psychic attacks. The Pokémon is even capable of branching Mega Evolutions to suit different combat styles. Next is Reshiram. Reshiram embodies the flames of truth. Reshiram is a legendary Pokémon from the Unova region, revered for its profound connection to truth and the power of fire. This dragon fire-type Pokémon is often depicted with a majestic, almost divine presence, symbolizing the purity and clarity that truth brings. Reshiram is said to be able to incinerate falsehoods with its signature move, Blue Flare, a devastatingly powerful attack that engulfs its surroundings in intense flames. The mythology surrounding Reshiram speaks to its role as a guardian of truth, only lending its immense power to those who pursue honesty and righteousness. This Pokémon is often at the center of conflicts in the Unova region, particularly in its clash with Zekrom, representing ideals. In these battles, but purifying, burning away deceit and leading the way to a world grounded in truth. Next is Zekrom. Zekrom wields thunder in pursuit of ideals. Zekrom is the legendary dragon electric-type Pokémon that embodies the pursuit of ideals and the transformative power of ambition. Hailing from the Unova region, Zekrom is known for its symbolizing the strength and determination needed to change the world. Unlike Reshiram, which represents truth, Zekrom stands for ideals, the aspirations and dreams that drive individuals to shape the world according to their vision. The mythology of Unova often portrays Zekrom as a force that supports those who dare to dream, empowering them to overcome obstacles and bring their visions to life. Its dark, thunderous presence contrasts with Reshiram's fiery purity. making the two Pokémon natural counterparts and eternal rivals. In the anime, Zekrom's interventions are often decisive, altering the course of events by providing overwhelming power to those who align with its ideals. Next is Yveltal. Yveltal represents the cycle of destruction and rebirth. Yveltal is a legendary Pokémon from the Kalos region, known as the Harbinger of Destruction and the embodiment of the natural cycle of death and rebirth. This dark flying type Pokémon is one of the most feared creatures in the Pokémon universe, with its presence often signifying the end of a natural cycle. However, Yveltal's role is not purely destructive. It is also a necessary part of the natural balance, as the energy it absorbs upon its death is released back into the world, fostering new life and growth. This duality makes Yveltal a complex and enigmatic figure in Pokémon mythology. The Pokémon's dark bird-like design, with expansive wings and a menacing aura, reinforces its association with death and the inevitability of change. In the anime, Yveltal is often depicted as an unstoppable force of nature that brings both fear and reverence. Its appearances are usually tied to catastrophic events, yet these events are part of the greater balance that Yveltal maintains in the world. Next is Xerneas. Xerneas grants eternal life and rejuvenation. Xerneas, the legendary Pokémon counterpart to Yveltal, represents life, rejuvenation, and the eternal cycle of nature. This fairy-type Pokémon from the Kalos region is revered as a guardian of life, with the power to grant eternal life and restore vitality to all living beings. In contrast to Yveltal's destructive nature, Xerneas is seen as a benevolent force that nurtures and protects the natural world. According to Kalos mythology, Xerneas enters a dormant state, transforming into a tree to sleep for 1,000 years, only to awaken and spread life once more. In the anime, Xerneas often appears in times of crisis, using its powers to heal and restore balance after Yveltal's destructive rampages. Xerneas' presence is a calming and revitalizing force, bringing peace and prosperity wherever it goes. Next is Lugia. Lugia masters the ocean's depths and the sky's fury. Lugia is a legendary Pokémon known as the Guardian of the Seas, revered for its mastery over the ocean's depths and the sky's fury. This psychic flying-type Pokémon is one of the most powerful and respected legendary creatures in the Pokémon world, often depicted as a solitary protector of the natural balance. Lugia's connection to the sea is profound, as it resides in the deep ocean, which maintains a peaceful solitude. In the Lugia is often portrayed as wise and benevolent, intervening in times of great peril to prevent natural disasters. Its ability to calm the storms and pacify the legendary birds underscores its vital role in maintaining the delicate balance of the world.